this party's looking a little stiff, Cole.
So what are you saying? Maybe they amp it up?
You could try, but this crowd doesn't dance before midnight.
Zac Efron plays an aspiring dance music DJ hungry for fame and fortune in the new coming-of-age movie, We Are Friends. Richard is here with his review of that movie and others. Zac Efron, okay, we see the abs and we see the arms and we see it's Zac being Zac. Is there more to it?
Well, see, this is Zac Efron's problem, is that he looks like Zac Efron.
Yeah.
So the first thing that you see is, you know, a good-looking guy. I think I wrote about one of his last films that his hair is so spectacular, it's almost a character in the movie on its own.
And for you to say that,
you know,
man
look,
of great hair.
I understand the hair. But that's the problem with Zac Efron is that he became famous as a teen heartthrob in the High School Musical movies, and then from there has done everything he possibly can to try and alienate that audience, but it's rough when you look like Zac Efron.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp, I think, probably had that same problem, never started off as a teen heartthrob in the same way. Brad Pitt, maybe, but Efron's having a harder time. So We Are Your Friends is a movie set in the world of electronic dance music. So automatically I thought, I'm too old for that. I'm not going to care about anything that happens here. And for the first part of the movie, I didn't really. It's a teen movie. It felt like it. It's about dance music. It's about clubs. It's about young guys in the San Fernando Valley trying to make it over the hill into Hollywood and become stars. It's all that stuff. There's a romance that doesn't really forward the story all that much. But then in the last half hour, this movie actually becomes about something.
Your eyes are twinkling.
I know. Well, this movie becomes about millennial angst. It becomes about, millennial aspirations and, these kids that aren't going to be leading the same lives that their parents did and their parents did before them and trying to make their way. And Efron has a song that he creates at the end, and the chorus is, "Are we ever going to be better than this?" And it's a really profound and powerful moment in the movie.
How many stars for Mr. Efron and Friends? 3.5. Let's get to Learning to Drive. What a cast this is. Well, Clarkson and Kingsley.
Exactly. Learning to Drive is kind of like a Prius. It's a well-meaning, well-put-together movie, but it's not as flashy as some of its other contemporary models.
Nice.
And so you have Patricia Clarkson playing a woman who is divorced or separated from her husband of 30 years. She is distraught. She gets in the back of a cab. Ben Kingsley is the cab driver. They have a conversation. He drops her off. That should have been the end of the story, except she then decides to change her life. And one of the ways that she's going to do this is to learn to drive so she can go up state in New York and see her daughter at school.
Right.
And Ben Kingsley's character gives her driving lessons. It's all about metaphors in this movie. It's these two great actors talking about life, talking about driving, all intersecting. She's teaching him things, he's teaching her things. It's a wonderfully performed movie that I gave 3.5 stars to because of the performances.
Okay, well, yeah, it's them. It's them. Okay, the end of the tour, which we both saw.
Yeah. And I know you loved this movie. I liked it very much too. This is kind of like Learning to Drive, essentially a two-hander. There's basically two characters on screen for 90% of the movie, and it's a long interview. It is David Lipsky, a writer for Rolling Stone magazine, played by Jesse Eisenberg, is assigned to do an interview with David Foster Wallace, who at that moment in the sort of early to mid-90s was the voice of his generation. A book called Infinite Jest had just came out. He was on a book tour, hence the title of the movie, The End of the Tour. David Lipsky joins him near the end of this, and they talk about things. They talk about life. They talk about the artificiality of doing a celebrity interview and trying to capture the essence of someone. They talk about all this stuff. David Foster Wallace, I don't know if this is an accurate portrayal of him. He killed himself a number of years after these interviews took place. But it's a fascinating portrayal of a character from Jason Segel, who was very, very good in this. So 4 stars for this. 4
stars for that one. And there is another movie. It's called Cop Car, but we'll throw people online to see
Cop Car,
and that review.
Backcountry, Z for Zachariah. Those are all online.
There you go.
Saw a lot of movies this week.
A lot of movies. So as Richard said, you'll find all of his movie reviews on our website, canadaam.ctvnews.ca.